aspiring teachers and practicing teachers. I'm Stephanie Cabildo from Bulacan State University, taking up a Bachelor of Secondary Education major in English, minor in Math. As part of our course Remedial Instruction, we were tasked to demonstrate a remedial strategy that targets a certain difficulty in one of the 5 macro skills. And if you want to learn more about that strategy, just keep on watching. In a classroom, teachers should be aware that the ability and knowledge levels of the learners are different. That is why the academic performance of each learner is also different. Remedial learning strategies target learners with a poor rate of academic progress. Teachers using remedial learning strategies could use teaching methods that are outside the norm of general classroom technique. First, teachers must identify the reasons behind the learning difficulties experienced by challenged learners, and then develop specific remedial learning strategies that target these difficulties. Teachers could then use these strategies to help challenged learners reach the regular pace of academic progress. Listening is the process of receiving words through the ears. Listening entails recognizing speech sounds and processing them into words and sentences. When we listen, we utilize our ears to collect specific sounds such as letters, stress, rhythm, and pauses, and our brain to translate them into messages that make sense to us. This remedial strategy for listening is entitled Learn to Listen, Listen to Learn. The students will write in their notebooks on a topic, share their thoughts in a small group, and then present their views to the entire class. This structured approach helps students in developing their discussion skills while also increasing their listening skills. This strategy will help students who have listening difficulties. Students who quickly forget what they heard, not recognizing the words they know, understanding the message but not the intended message, neglecting the next part while thinking about meaning, and unable to form a mental representation from words heard. This strategy will help students to understand the information as they listen to it, keep the information in memory, combine it with what follows, and adjust their comprehension of what they hear based on previous and subsequent knowledge.
This strategy can able to perform in more or less 15 to 20 minutes and 4 to 6 sessions weekly. Materials needed are journal and pen. Throughout the process, the teacher's role is to guide the students.
Before we start this activity, I want to remind all of you that not everyone will necessarily be in agreement, and our goal is to understand one's viewpoint and the perspective of your classmate. Is that clear?
For the students, they need to follow the instruction given by the teacher. They need to listen carefully to their classmates and wait for their turn to share their ideas.
Okay class, let's start. First, I'll give you time to write about our topic that you'll be discussing in your journals. After you write, you will underline or highlight the thoughts you think most engaging or worthy of sharing. Okay?
Give students 5 to 10 minutes to write about the topic they will be discussing in their journals. After they write, ask students to underline or highlight the thoughts they think most engaging or worthy of sharing.
Now that we are done in writing and highlighting what you want to share, I will divide the class right now. And after you form your groups, you should designate a facilitator to keep your group on track and so you can start sharing.
Divide the class into small groups of 4 or 5 students. Once students have formed groups, they should designate a facilitator to keep the group on track. Each student is now allowed to share a portion of his or her journal writing in the class. The remaining student will just listen, and no one should interrupt the speaker throughout the sharing procedure.
Remember, students, this discussion is not about arguing viewpoints. It is about listening to each other and acknowledging their diverse array of thoughts, fears, and hopes. After the group discussion, groups should decide on 2 or 3 ideas from their conversations to share with the whole class. Now, I will allow you to read what you have written in your journal.
Allow students to read the journal entry they wrote at the start of the activity. This time, class, I want you to explain how your perspectives have shifted after you've heard the different perspectives of your classmates. Perhaps their ideas have strengthened, or perhaps they have shifted slightly. Some students' attitudes may have completely changed, or the conversations may have left them uncertain or with new questions. Prompts you might use to structure students' thinking include the following. What did you learn from this activity? What questions are you left with? And what did you learn more from listening or presenting your ideas?
This is an approach best suited to older students 10 years upwards. This is a particularly beneficial discussion approach when your class is discussing important topics. That's it. Those are the procedures and things to consider to successfully perform this strategy for listening. Again, I'm Stephanie and I'm hoping that you learned something from this video. Thank you.